The law of action. In order to create on the three-dimensional plane, which is where reality is, action is always required. Now, for any of you out there that might be lazy or feeling lazy, like sometimes I do, don't worry, I have a hack for that too. We'll get to it later. Everything that is created by man on this planet started with the action of thinking. Thinking actually is indeed some kind of action I can call to do it. Thinking then brings about emotions or energy in motion. That energy is then translated into a physical action. It usually is started by creating some kind of words. It might be written, it may be spoken, and then usually through some sort of physical motion. Now, when emotions of fear, anxiety, or depression are triggered, the actions that I take will usually undermine what I am intending to create. These are called counteractions. And when I feel great, I typically will create my intended results or something really close to those, maybe even better. And when I feel less than great, I'm going to create unintended results. This was true for me even as a child. When I was playing Legos, if I was in the state of play, I created masterpieces. And when I was upset or feeling down, my creations actually made other adults ask my parents, "Is he special?" This is truth. This happened a couple times. So the act of manifestation in physical reality requires some type of action. And that's either to take what already exists and combine it into a new way, or to take things that exist and take them apart and combine it in a new way. All creation is an element of rearranging what already exists. This includes ideas and things. This is known as synthetic imagination. There is also creative imagination, where I might channel from infinite intelligence. New ideas coming from a divine source through the law of vibration. Now remember, when action is taken in a playful way, it will reveal opportunities within. This is what is also called inspired action. When I put energy into motion via emotion, my bodily emotions, those are the key forces that cause me to take action. They actually propel me forward. Now, knowing which actions will bring about the desired outcome is tied to being in the right bodily emotion. Just take the word apart. E-motion equals energy in motion. I cannot stress this enough. It is a distinction that I've only seen written once before in all of my studies. In all of the teachings I've only seen it once. This is one of the secrets that are being withheld from the mainstream. So realize this, emotion, all my emotions are creating the energy for me to take emotion. When I take an action that moves me away from my unintended outcome, it's called a counteraction. These are usually inspired when I'm in fear, depression, anger, and any other emotion that's typically labeled as a negative emotion. Now, when I take an action that moves me away from my intended outcome, I call these counteractions. Counter is against. These are usually inspired when I'm in fear or depression or anger or any emotion that typically is labeled as a negative emotion. To understand the negative emotions, or what we refer to as negative emotions, and how they are a gift, you'll definitely want to check out the Gift of Emotions course. But for now, just understand those emotions that I would perceive as negative are usually going to move me away from my intended goal. And those emotions that are feeling on the positive side of the spectrum, they're going to move me towards it. So here is a brief summary. Thoughts bring things to me. Emotion is an energetic force that inspires movement. And physical action is what allows me to be able to create on the third dimensional plane. Be aware of those counteractions. Counteractions are actions that bring me away from my goals. These are actions that I take when I'm experiencing what is often referred to as negative emotions. So the long and short of it is to create on this three-dimensional plane. The more that I'm feeling great, the more that the actions that I'm taking are going to help create my intention. So monitoring what I'm thinking and the emotions that come up before I take action can save me a bunch of time. The law of action states that actions must be taken to create on this physical plane. Someone has to take them. It may be me, I may delegate it. Choice is always mine. So let's get started with how do I master the law of action? How do I get myself in the state that I'm going to take actions that move me closer to my goals? Thanks for joining. Let's get you mastering the law of action.